Hello, everybody. It's CJ Wiley back with more adventures on the road. I'm touring around some of these back roads in Kentucky, bringing back memories of when I used to play pool here. Kentucky was a really good pool state. Lots of gamblers and a lot of really good players in these small towns, and they would put you to the test. If you were going to go in there and try to beat them, you better be prepared to beat them until they said uncle, because they weren't going to quit easy. They were full of heart, is what we used to say. But I had just beat Gary Spaeth up in Cincinnati when I came down to Kentucky, and I was with this girl that had jet black hair and bright blue eyes. I mean, she was mesmerizingly attractive. And I found out later that's kind of how they were knocking me. It was hard to pinpoint me because I changed my looks pretty easily, and it was hard to describe me. So, but when I was with this girl, it was a lot easier because they said, this young kid plays real good pool, and then they described the girl, and that's really how they got me. So I was in one of those small town pool rooms, and I'm playing this guy, and all the pool rooms back then had a payphone, and I was playing this guy and kind of hustling him and setting him up to win some pretty good money, and the phone rang, and somebody answered it and called my opponent to the phone, and he talked on the phone a little while and looked at me and came back, and after that game was over, he quit and acted funny about it, but I figured out later that, somebody had called and told him who I was and not to play me. So I go to Lexington, Kentucky to a friend of mine later that ran a lot of pool tournaments up here. Danny Biley was the owner of Danny's All-Star Billiards. And I was in his place, and same thing. I'm playing this guy, and the phone rang. And they called him up to the phone. He talked on the phone. And when he came back to the table, I could tell he had that look on his face. And I said to him, "You want to finish this game or you want to quit now?" And he looked at me and smiled. And he says, "I'll finish the game." And he did. And he quit. So I was like, man, this is brutal. So we went to a few other places. And I went to this town up in the mountains that had this really good player. Went in there with the girl. The setting was perfect. It was snowing a little bit, and everybody was in the pool room, and I could just tell, it was a perfect stage to win some pretty serious money. So we started out playing for $10 a game, and he was hustling me. That was perfect. He was hustling me. I was hustling him, and he raised the bet to 20. He raised the bet to 50. We raised the bet to 100, raised the bet to 200, and by the time the smoke cleared, I'd beat him out over $6,000. And there was an eerie silence over the pool room as I put my cue in my case, and my girl and I headed towards the door. Right before we got to the door, there was a payphone to the left of the door, about 10 feet. And right as I started to get to the door, the phone rang. So I hesitated, and I told the girl, I said, "Hold on just a second." And I went over to the phone, picked it up, and said, "You're too late," and hung up. And we got out of there. But I don't even know who was on the phone, if it was somebody knocking me or not. But if it was, it would have been hilarious. But anyway, had some great times here in Kentucky, and I got a few other road stories I'm going to tell about playing in some of these little pool rooms around. But anyway, if you like this story and want to find out more about my road stories and my fundamentals, techniques, and systems that I use to become one of the best players in the world, join me at www.masteringpocketbilliards.com. And I'll be your road partner and show you all the things that I learned from traveling with some of the greatest road players and playing some of the greatest professional players on ESPN. Anyway, hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk with you soon.